Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to today's live session. Today is November 13th, 2020. It's actually Friday the 13th. If you're superstitious, probably not the best day for you. But hopefully it's a good day. It's a Friday. In today's session, we'll be going over the trades we looked at and took this week. And more importantly, we're going to start preparing for next week. So, a lot of the election segment from last week carried over to this week. There's still some disputes about who the winner is. Some independents haven't given Biden the victory just yet, so it's a bit lopsided into how things are. But I think the markets know, and most people know that Biden has won, and so that's why we had to kind of take a slowed approach on Monday. And then we had fundamentals all throughout the week, which we'll discuss. But in terms of trades we took, here's the first one. Here's the actual signal itself. We are in some profit. This is a trade that I do expect to hit, TP2, TP3, and hopefully TP4. We've already hit our first target of 25 pips, and I've already closed off half my position. I have my stop loss at break even, so it's pretty much a risk-free trade at this point. We're risking no more than 1% per trade, and I do think this will head lower, especially with the NZD getting some weakness all of a sudden. That's mainly due to the dollar. So this is the first trade idea. Well, it's actually the second one, but one of the trade ideas that we're looking to kind of carry over to next week. Right now, it's just having some trouble at this low, which is expected. So if you look at the 4-hour time frame, you'll see right here, this is the last kind of swing low we made before we launched up. This was a fake out to the top side, and once price came down, we knew this was a good entry point. And we had zero drawdown for most of the ride. Currently, price is pulling back a bit, but hopefully, come Monday, we have broken this low and we're headed down to these highs right here, and then finally down to this low down here. So it's a pretty simple trade idea. If you actually look at the daily candle for yesterday, it's a nice shooting star candle, right, which appears at the top of uptrend, where you have a long wick to the top, none to the bottom. This is a nice sell indicator. So if you just entered this trade based on this candle alone, you would have made around 35 to 40 pips. That's how far this trade went. It has pulled back since then. But once you've secured some profits and you've moved your stop loss to break even, you're pretty much stress-free for the entire ride down. If you get more pips, that's great. If you get stopped at a break even, that's okay as well, because at least you got something from the trade. So that's what we have. I'm going to carry it over. It's a small position, and the R2R on this trade is 4.11. So having a 4.11 R2R is pretty good in terms of a swing trade. And we got a pretty good entry where we didn't get into any drawdown. But just because the markets are a bit choppy and the election is a bit of, there's some disputes going on, I want to make sure we give our stop loss in a breathing room. So this is the first trade I'm going to carry over throughout the weekend in a while. But I think now that we've gotten, a good portion of the election out of the way, I think it's okay and safe to. Also, this week Powell spoke about the stimulus package and the monetary policy moving forward, which we'll cover in a bit. So this was one trade. The other one was for USD which wasn't as smooth, but it did hit our first target as well. Here it is. Here's a signal. You can see here. Here's the price action itself. If you go to the 4-hour time frame, you'll see we got entry around here. Price hit our first target, pulled back, consolidated. It almost stopped us out at break even, just barely, but now it's continuing to go lower. So at the moment, we're up around 30-ish pips for this trade as well. And similar to NZD I do think this will head lower come Monday. So these are two trades that I'll be holding over the weekend. Only have a 50% of my original position open, and stops at break even. So you're, again, for a risk-free ride, why not? I think the volatility has kind of died down in the markets, and then it's safe enough for me to personally do that. Obviously, it's not financial advice, so I do recommend you follow your own risk management in trading, but for me personally, I'm confident in holding these two trades over the weekend. So this is also a very simple trade idea. We came up to these highs right here. You can see we've had 1, 2, 3 sells from this high before at 0.91940, and then if you actually look at the price action that was shown on the 8-hour time frame, I think. Yes, on the 8-hour time frame. Again, we see that nice shooting star candle, long to the top, none at the bottom. This is a classic sell indicator. We saw that over here as well. Very nice, and price sold off. So that's what we're predicting. Now the current 8-hour candle looks nice and bearish. It's a nice inverted hammer, and hopefully this can continue dropping down. Best case scenario is that we come down to these lows by the end of the day or just before the end of the day, and we can secure some more profits then. And then we have a tiny position that's carried over for the weekend. So these are the two trade ideas that we did enter. There is a lot that we covered. So one of them was for Euro NZD, which just became active yesterday, but I feel like we will enter it on Monday. But Euro NZD, we had two options: either to go short if we broke this low and closed bearish, which we did not. The other option was to go long if we close bullish above this, which we did. So you can see this nice bullish hammer. So for the traders that did enter this, you're probably in some profit or at break even or entry, which is fine. Me personally, I'm going to enter this on Monday. It looks like a good setup as well. Let me pull up to the daily just so you can see. You can see the reaction on the daily time frame. We have this thin blue rectangle, which represents our support zone. We've had a rally from here. We had a rally from here. And you can see this daily candle from yesterday was a nice sign for a potential long, right? A nice bullish hammer. This is kind of a fake out. It probably ran some stops down here and then pushed all the way back above support. And so this is a good trade we could take next week to come and target these highs back up here. So hopefully this price action remains constant over the weekend. It doesn't go too high or too low, and we can take advantage. And also the weekly candle looks pretty good as well. So you can see the weekly candle is a nice bearish hammer with a very, very long loop to the bottom. You can see, let me move this. You can see a nice long loop to the bottom. This is the least bearish candle you'll see. I call it a pullback candle, and that's why I'm kind of figuring that we will be up here by the end of next week, if not higher. Your NZD doesn't lack any volatility to do that move. And so what actually may happen over the weekend is we may come back and test this kind of low region right here of 1.72600, and once we get some signs of buyers, we can get an entry here back up to these highs. Okay. Important thing to notice about this pair is that price hasn't cleared this last significant high. So the last significant lower high was right here, right? And we made that high on the 10th of November. At the start of the week. You can see price pushed up later from Thursday going into today, but it hasn't touched that high. So we do have to watch out for that, because in terms of price action, this is still a lower high, right? And we could very well sell off from here. And so that may bring into play our original short idea, where if we do break this low, we can go all the way down to this low, right? But we'll kind of readdress this on Monday. Actually, it might be better for us to have price jump up over the weekend and clear this high, and then come Monday morning we can target that long all the way up to these highs up here, right? All the way up to this high. So that's what we have for Euro NZD. We were pretty patient with this pair. For example, at the start of the week, when we broke this this low right here, I wanted to make sure that price was actually going to clear it, and so we created another lower low, but instead of clearing that lower low, we pulled back up. And so if you look at the 4-hour time frame, you'll see that. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see we broke this support with a bearish hammer. We never enter a trade on a bearish hammer. This inverted hammer was nice. So if you did enter on this inverted hammer, you could have made some profit, around 47 pips, but we didn't enter then. This was at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I'm asleep. So in the morning, when I woke up, at 9 a.m., I saw this candle, this up candle, and my thought process was simple. If we can clear this low that we made right here at 1.7850, we can go short, but it has to be a bearish candle. And then price came, it did break below, but again, it's a bearish hammer. We do not enter short on bearish hammers ever, and you can see why. This is the least bearish candle you'll see. And so once this appeared, we had another bullish engulfing hammer. And that was, if you entered short here, this next candle was your sign to get out, and you can see price since then ran up. So we were just patient with this, and obviously the patience paid out, because We might have took the premature short, but I was asleep at the time. But so there was a possibility for that. But this break on the 4-hour time frame was not ideal at all. And if you look at the 8-hour time frame, you have the same story. You see this nice bullish hammer, very very long to the bottom, none at the top. This is like an inverted shooting star almost, where if you see this at the bottom of a downtrend, it's a good buy signal. And you can see since then price hasn't looked back. So that's currently our viewpoint on Euro NZD. I would love for price to clear this high though. Otherwise, you may have to wait for price to sell off all the way down here, then break this low, and then we can enter. So that's going to be a bit annoying, but we'll see what happens over the weekend. The other one was for Aussie NZD. And it's very, very similar, almost one-to-one in terms of how price action looked. So again, actually, let me pull up the daily. So on the daily, we have this blue rectangle, which simply represents a support zone where we have 1, 2, 3 rallies. We even had one prior last week. So we had 4 rallies from the support zone, and our thought process was that if we can close bearish below the blue support zone on the 4-hour, 8-hour, or daily time frame, we can go short and target this low down here, right? And if you look at what happened on the 4-hour time frame, you'll see this. So on the 4-hour time frame, you can see here price broke that support zone. It was a doji candle where the wick to the top and bottom are equal. This was a bearish hammer, another doji, a bearish hammer, a bullish hammer, a bullish hammer, a doji, a bullish hammer, a bearish hammer, a bullish hammer. And so none of these candles warrant entry at all, right? That's why we labeled this low down here, because we saw all these candles kind of playing games, showing indecision. Now we wanted to make sure that we break this low here, get something like this, nice and bearish to take the short. We didn't get that, so we didn't enter short, and obviously therefore price pushed up. Now we are in a downtrend, so I'm too focused on the long. You can see clearly we're making lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is a lower high right here. And so it was a bit risky to take that long because you don't know where price will retrace. Price could retrace, up here, up here, up here, up here, up here, up here, or even here. So you can see right now on the 4-hour time frame, the last 4-hour candle was a shooting star. So that may be a sign that we're headed lower. And again, this is something we can look into next week, where if we do clear this low, we can take a short. I wouldn't personally go long on this just yet, maybe until we clear this, these highs up here. Right? If we do clear these highs up here, then maybe we can go long back up to this high. But, I generally don't go against the trend unless it's very, very clear. And in this case, this just seems like price came down, created some support. It couldn't budge any lower, pushed up a bit, created a new lower high, and now we may see a creation of a new lower low somewhere down here, and that's when we can enter. All right, so we had that in mind, and then we also had a few of the majors in mind as well. So, for example, euro dollar, at the beginning of the week, it looked like it was going to sell off. We wanted to make sure price kind of clears this low, kind of this key level where we've had, a lot of price action, used as a low, and it just never got there. Similar to all the other pairs, we like to trade with the trend, and the trend is still down despite how weird this price action looks. If you check the daily, you'll see that. Right, we're still in a downtrend, although this candle may appear as though we might go higher. But today's Friday, so generally I try to kind of disregard Friday's candle because a lot of weird things happen on Friday. But we'll see coming into next week if we still have some bullishness. Then we can go long and target this high and then this high. We also had a setup for Aussie dollar, which was very similar as well. Right, and this is a short, and if you look at it, we were waiting for price to clear this low, right? I put this up here because this is a rushed entry where if you were so impatient, they can technically enter from here, and yeah, you would have made some profit, but you can see this blue rectangle. It represents the candle I wanted to see when it breaks this line right here. And again, we're still waiting on that candle, a nice bearish closure. So this is something we can look into next week, although the trend is still down. So it's definitely an idea that we can move over to the right and wait for it to happen. So That's fine if you entered it prematurely. You'd be in some profit. And honestly, in terms of price action on the higher time frames, this does look like a favorable short. Our stop loss is in a good spot as well. But I do think this is actually a promising setup. This looks way more promising than euro. We have something decisive for this pair, where euro is a bit of a mixed bias at the current moment. Then we had gold, and we had a mega swing trade for gold, which we were just patiently waiting for. So you can see, to start off the week, we came down all the way to this low, and all we needed was price to close bearish on the daily time frame below 1845 to go short. Instead, price came down to this low, used as support, and pushed back up. I'm looking at the longer term play for gold, and that's the short in my opinion. So I'm still waiting for price to get down here. But if price does push up and clear, for example, 1982, then we can take a long back up to our all-time high of 2072. So that's how the week went. We had a few setups, majors and minors, on the table. We elected to go with the minors because they were just a bit quicker in their movements. Although I wished Euro, NZD, and Aussie NZD were a bit cleaner in terms of price action. So I know what I say in the feed on YouTube is there's a slight delay. So at this point, if you have any pairs you want me to look at, pair recommendations, let me know. Otherwise, I'll go through a few before end off the session, and then we can enjoy our weekend. So I'll give you guys a second. In the meantime, I'll take a sip of my drink. Today's Friday the 13th. That's actually pretty crazy. I didn't know that. Alright, I think YouTube has caught up now. Good morning to everyone, by the way. Good evening, wherever you are. Someone said CAD yen and NZD yen. That's perfect. Let's go. So I believe I covered NZD yen in the paid session on Wednesday. Let's give it a look. Yeah, I did. So NZD yen, this is like a long-term analysis, but I'll just quickly go over it. So on the monthly, you can see clear as day, we've been in a downtrend since 2017, right? It's continuously making lower highs as we go down. And what happened in the earlier parts of the week was this candle was actually outside of this trend line. And it looked like it was going to push up to the upside. So that was my main thinking process here, was that, if this candle can clear this high and this high, which is some resistance at 73.240, then we can target that range from here all the way up to here, right? Kind of fill up this range, right? That's what we want to do. And if you look at why we're kind of waiting for that level to get cleared, the weekly and daily show you why. So if you go on the weekly, you'll see we have some weekly resistance here. 1, 2, 3. 3 sell-offs from this price point. And in the earlier parts of the week, price surged past it. It completely surged past it. So it looked very promising. Since then, sellers have squeezed price all the way back below that resistance. Let me actually clear this up a bit. Right, sellers have pushed price all the way back down, and so that's why I was like, it's very important that we clear this high up here before we go long. Otherwise, it may be a bit risky. Now, if you look at the daily, you'll see, the sellers are pouring back in. And so for NZD yen, I'm actually thinking about going short. This is very similar to our NZD CHF idea, where you have your resistance here, right? And all that the market did was come up here, run some stops, and it may come down and actually sell off. And the perfect TP is these lows right here, right? We have a lot of price action in and around here. We have a rally from this level. We have a rally from this level. Price almost came down here, so you can see just based on this snapshot where price wants to go. This is the trading range where price is destined to go to. Mind you, we're holding a short for NZD CHF, so we're actually bearish on NZD, so it makes sense to pair NZD yen, and the yen is a safe haven, and NZD CHF, where the CHF is a safe haven. That's actually a good combination. And right now the daily looks absolutely beautiful, right? A nice inverted hammer. If you look at yesterday's daily candle, it was a nice shooting star as well. If today wasn't Friday, I would actually call this trade right now live for my traders. But discipline is key. So, but this looks like a really good short, and that's why our entry point, our alert for a long was up here, because it was very important that we clear this high. Otherwise, it's risky to go long. And so this looks very good for a short. If you want to look at potential trade, this would be it right here. Nice 3.1 R2R setup. This is pretty good right here. And this is very convincing. This is a trade where they've just, they did the same move here where, you have this resistance. Most people will have their stop loss, a bit above the resistance. They came up, ran the stops, and then just sold off in the opposite direction. This looks like the same move because if you look at the daily candles, none of them were bullish. They weren't bullish hammers or bullish candles with 0 wicks. And this is a typical case of market manipulation where they just ran your stops, and then they're going to take you short now. So this looks really good. I'm actually a bit bummed out it's Friday because I'm pretty sure the 8-hour looks perfect. Yeah, it does. So we even had like a break and retest rejection scenario. So if you look, price tried to go higher. If you look at the 8-hour candles right here, none of them are bullish hammers until this one. But it's too late. Our entry criteria was up here. Right, we were only going to go long if we clear this high where our alert is. Since then, price printed a shooting star. So if you entered long, you could have gotten out here. Then price broke below this resistance with this candle, came up and retested it, and now this 8-hour candle is trying to reject by going lower. So this is a perfect trade setup. 4-hour, same little story as well. Tried to go higher. Price sold off, broke below this resistance, retested it, and now we're kind of rejecting it. And if we do clear this low, which we made at the break, which is at 71.500, then this thing is ready to sell off, right? So pretty aggressive sell off, and this all ties in with our NZD CHF trade idea. So this is the first trade idea we will look at on Monday morning. During the New York session, for sure. I would love to see price be somewhere right here or maybe even a bit lower so we can get an entry. And this looks good, so thanks for that recommendation. I didn't get an alert for this, so I just completely disregarded it and focused on other things, but this looks promising, to say the least, right? So there you have it, and that's kind of the thought process. And then you said CAD yen, so CAD yen. CAD yen looks good as well. Let me remove these drawings. It's very simple, really. Right, there's your trade idea. And if you actually want to make it a bit cleaner, you could have actually used recent price action, which is this resistance here. You can see we spent, you can count the days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days trying to break above this level. You mark your resistance here. You can see price jumped up. I'm pretty sure if you look at the 8-hour or daily time or the 4-hour time frame, you have a shooting star, and here's your shooting star candle. It appears after an uptrend. We ran into some resistance. We print a shooting star. Price sold off, and the rest is history. Now this trade has already progressed far more to its target than NZD yen has. If you just look at the daily, you'll see that this trade is almost done. So if you entered, short up here, and this is your target, this low / support zone, you're almost 55% of the way there. So going short now doesn't make sense, whereas NZD yen still has more to give. If you look at the 8-hour time frame, again, you'll see that shooting star. This is a perfect trade idea, very perfect. And you can see since that initial shooting star, we had some consolidation, and then we just had almost 2.5 days of just selling with no bullish candle in sight. So what we can do now is wait for price to come back down to this low, the support region, and look for signs of life, and then hopefully take a long backup. And just to give you a quick comparison, this is how CAD yen looks, and this is how NZD yen looks. You can see one is about to start to play out, while the former is almost done, right? But this is a pretty decent trade idea as well. So I honestly, my best bet would, if you're not in this trade, wait for us to get back down to the low of 78.200, then look for signs of life, such as a bullish engulfing or just a 3-bar pattern, and then go long based off that. So that's what we have. So any other pair recommendations, let me know. BTC, SP500, Tesla, whatever works. Otherwise, I'll send this session off. I will first give the coupon code for those that are interested. All right, BTC. So BTC. So last time I talked about BTC, I had a nice long idea that quickly went into profit. Let's see how it looks now, and it looks beautiful. It looks the same as ever. So we actually went higher this week, and this morning we actually created a new high, 16,500. That's awesome. So BTC, I've been bullish since right before the election because I knew that weaker dollar was coming in, especially with that huge stimulus bill. And so my target is still the same. It's that all-time high. Actually got some BTC last weekend. So I'm going to be value investing. I'm very bullish on BTC. And so is the charts. This weekly candle is a nice bullish hammer. Last week's candle was a nice bullish hammer. The week before that was a bullish hammer. It looks good. And if you look at the monthly candle, it looks nice as well. A nice bullish hammer. This is the second most bullish candle you'll see. So if I had to bet the house, my house, I'd say most likely we get up here. Right? I'm not saying bet your house, but if I had to just if there's a gun to my head, I do see BTC getting here. If not by the end of the year, maybe by the end of maybe by mid-December, right? Because then markets start to die down because of Christmas. But I do think this is where we're going to go. At the bare minimum, we can even go higher. If you just look at what we've covered this month of November, we've covered from 13,000 to 16,000 in a swift move. So maybe we need another month to get up to this high, and then we can start looking at creating new all-time highs, 25,000, 30,000, 50,000, who knows, right? So that looks good. Pretty simple analysis, and our entry was very clean. On the daily, all we wanted was a bullish hammer, and we had it right here. And then since then, price never looked back. It did retrace a bit during that election confusion, but then it just came back up. So this looks good. BTC looks very good. So hopefully you enjoyed today's session. This was a free session that I was holding. I do price action. My friend Institute Trader, he does smart money, and he does live sessions on Wednesday. But if you're looking to join the paid sessions and every single session that we hold 2 to 3 live sessions a day where we trade the markets live and give you live insight so you actually learn how to trade. On top of that, we have around 7 to 8 quality signal providers so you can learn and earn at the same time. We have a really good promo going on. We have many, but for our monthly package, we have this one. All you have to do is go to forexlens.com, go to Forex Trading Room, click Get Started. Fill out this form with your details. When you click Next, there'll be a section to enter a coupon code. If you enter this coupon code, FIRST50, you will get your first month for 50% off. That means you get all that content, live sessions 2 to 3 times a day, 7 to 8 signal providers, full access to our community Discord, where you have different gold traders, oil traders. You can chat with traders, share analysis. You can even chat with the mentor themselves. You would only get it for $73.50 for your first month. So take advantage. If you're looking for a promotion for some of our longer term plans, such as a 3-month or yearly, just give us a message on here or Discord, and we'll be happy to tell you. But hopefully I see some new faces on Monday. I'm always looking forward to teaching new traders and learning more from you guys as well. But that's it. So we had a good week. We had no losing trades. We secured some profit, and that's all that really matters. Our pip counts are updated every single week, so make sure you check our website. And that's that. So I'll see you guys Monday. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and take care.